Hello, my name's Lorne Riseley. My wife took me for half! And this is Defunct Games News, your one-stop weekly shop for all your gaming-related news of the week. Coming up first this week. Rumors indicate that Disney considers bringing Kingdom Hearts to Disney+. Blizzard makes announcements concerning its upcoming Blizzcon event. And other highlights to come include a Formula E racer is caught with his thumbs on the cheat code. And let's take a look at the weekly challenge. What the hell does Cyril want from me this week? So I suppose like last week we're going to start with the end, but I actually have two this week. Not sure why. Let's have a look what the first one says. Hey! The bosses at Defunct Games, they've given me an all-expense paid trip to BlizzCon! That's awesome! I've been wanting to go for years. Maybe things are turning around here. Okay, we've got a story about that later. We can cover it live and in colour. This is going to be so amazing. Well, that's good, but let's see what the one from Cyril is. This can never be good news. Do a segment in an American accent. But coming up first, what's the one thing you want to soothe the rampaging 5 to 7-year-olds of the world during this lockdown period? Well, according to Disney, the answer could very well be a mishmash of the most emo-est characters in the world, coupled with the do-goodiest of do-gooders in a story more convoluted than my backstory. While we of course jest about the demographic, according to YouTuber and professional leaker, if that's even a title, Grace Randolph has tweeted that she has sources close to Disney who are claiming that they're planning to bring Kingdom of Hearts to TV. For those unfamiliar with the title, Kingdom Hearts originally debuted in 2002 as a hack and slash beat 'em up game, and it's a crossover between characters of Square Enix and Disney based in a fictitious universe. Which is a bit like combining Green Day and Barney the Dinosaur, I suppose. Deep but wholesome. The series itself centers around the main character Sora and his epic yet hard to understand at times journey and experiences with said characters who often clash against different versions of the same baddie, Xehanort, who, believe you me, has more versions of himself than any Pokemon with Mega Evolutions combined. For those of you wondering why these particular two entities are the ones that have found time to kind of mesh when they don't belong to each other? Well, because it took WWE 18 years to call Kingdom of Fighters and say, hey, maybe we should do a mashup, even though it's completely inexplicable and makes no sense. Still, many are excited for a potential debut on the telebox, and it would appear to still be in the casting stages according to numerous sources, but it's a safe bet that with Disney dying for new content and with boundless possibilities with which to take the series and imbue it with other properties Disney currently owns, which includes all the other properties Disney owns, everywhere minus Sooty and Sweep, it's a safe bet that we'll be seeing this pop up in recommendations soon. So watch the Disney Plus space, because there's no denying the pull and indeed the power of the Keyblade. You promised me that was a saying, Dave. You promised me that was a saying. Anyway, as you may remember, a year and a half ago, me and Cyril time traveled, okay? We time traveled to stop an alternate version of the EGM Gaming Awards ceremony from taking place, and thereby prevented Mike Tyson from fighting Evander Holyfield on the undercard of the KSI versus Logan Paul moon fight that took place on the moon. Long story for another time. But the point is, we had a bunch of side quests, a bunch of other things that we ended up getting up to, and every week we're going to be catching up. So this week, let's take a look at what our courageous colleagues did when they came face to face with one of the most inexplicable gaming advertisements I have ever seen.
Show 'em!
Let's talk about my trip. I can't wait to talk about this. I haven't read the news though, so let's have a look. So, Blizzard announces that BlizzCon is cancelled for the year. Wait, what?
Yeah, it was announced this morning.
So this is the bosses just screwing with me again, right?
No, we all chipped in for tickets.
Anyway, BlizzCon have announced that with hundreds of events cancelled in the wake of COVID-19, the event, even though it's supposed to take place in November, BlizzCon? Okay, alright. Cyril, you win, okay? Well done. Tapping out. Can't do an American accent.
A few moments later.
According to sources, Blizzard said in early April that it was exploring its options and trying to determine whether or not BlizzCon would be feasible for this year, with the event's executive producer, Sarah Lynn Smith, later quoted as saying, "Ultimately, after considering our options, we've come to the very difficult decision to not have BlizzCon this year at all." The event's producer later went on to say that it's looking into holding an online replacement of some kind, but it's been widely reported that this isn't likely to happen until early 2021. For those unaware, as clearly I am, BlizzCon was originally conceived in 2005 as a way of preempting and sort of promoting and previewing games it was going to have coming up. Like this year, it would have been fun to see that live. Some of its major franchises previewed here include Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and Overwatch, and often features game-related announcements, previews of upcoming Blizzard Entertainment games and content, Q&A sessions, panels, costume contests, and playable versions of various Blizzard games. Apparently, they even had closing night music ceremonies, which featured amazing musical acts like Tenacious D and Offspring and Linkin Park and Blink-182 and Metallica and Weird Al Yankovic, and that would have been wonderful to see live. Really, really fun.
Get it together, we're live.
Here's another heartwarming story for you. A Formula E sports driver has been disqualified from an online gaming tournament for cheating, using a ringer it turns out. According to Reuters, Formula E Audi driver Daniel Abt has been disqualified from an esports race and fined €10,000 for using a ringer in his place. In his first outings, he never finished higher than 15th place, so when he qualified in second and went on to take third in the Formula E race at home challenge, people were somewhat dubious about the result. No f***ing Indeed, it was revealed that professional eSIM racer Lorenz Horsing was doing the driving for Abt. The online Race at Home challenge aims to keep drivers and fans engaged with Formula E, as real racing has been suspended for the season due to this ongoing pandemic. And fun fact, it was originally designed also as a charitable event for UNICEF. So the spirit of charity completely in full swing here. And now he's been disqualified, Abt is likely going to have some free time on his hands and some money to make back. Maybe he could take up darts. Or maybe he and I can spend some free time going to BlizzCon this year. I mean, terrible story, but at least that's the only cheating story we have, right? What do you mean we have breaking news? Give me... Fortnite winner Sako-sama caught teaming, stripped of $15,000 prize money. Oh, come on! I mean, that sucks, but that's it, right? I weep for the future of humanity. And now for the stories of the week that I didn't have time to research. But it's funny what a cancelled trip can do for your timetable, so let's get into it, shall we? So let me ask you something. Do you ever struggle with love? Do you ever struggle to know what to say to that special someone? Well, don't worry, turns out neither do BioWare, even when they're the ones writing the goddamn script for the romance scene. Now in fairness, it's been revealed that the writer originally responsible for said scene led BioWare when it came time to figure out how Thane, a character in Mass Effect 2, could be romanced, leaving the writer Patrick Weeks to figure it out. And according to Weeks, the answer, apparently, is to hurl yourself at him after he confesses that his wife was murdered, as you do, simply exclaiming, "I want you, Thane." So simple yet so inappropriate. Or you can choose to tell him to focus on his son Kolyap, thereby having never had the chance to shake your tail feather with a reptile assassin. In fairness, gaming doesn't have the best track record of this. Gaming generally deals with love and romance with all the delicacy and tenderness of Jim Carrey on a cocaine binge dusting a china store with a croquet mallet.
Oh my god, spit it out already, man.
I know that's a lot of hyperbole, but give me a break. Street Fighter V, which was released in 2016, will get its 5th and final expansion this week, adding 5 new fighters to the roster. But more importantly, that means that maybe, just maybe, they're gearing up for Street Fighter 6, which, fun fact, if they did release another Street Fighter, this is the quickest game since the sequel to the original that they would have turned out. But given that the average release time for a Street Fighter game is around 7 years, we here at Defunct Games would advise don't get your hopes up, which happens to be my personal motto, frankly. And now for something completely different. Some Silent Hills news. The next major Dead by Daylight expansion will feature content based on the iconic Silent Hill franchise. Not the news that Silent Hill fans have been waiting for, given that just this week it was reported that Hideo Kojima's Silent Hills game, which is now resigned to just being called PT, would have gone out of its way to scare the heebie-jeebies out of you in real life with various gambits like sending you creepy messages or flickering your lights on and off in the house. And finally, that. Just that. Please, Ubisoft, give me something. Just give me something positive this week, please. Well, that'll about wrap it up for this week. My name's been Lorne Riseley. This has been Defunct Games News. Telling you to like, share, subscribe. I'm doing it. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out all the other content that's coming out this week that Cyril's been producing for you because he gets all the plaudits. Also, remember to check in next week and leave your suggestions in the comments below for stories that we should cover and any challenges that I should do. But please don't give Cyril any ideas, anything nice. Just suggest a pay rise, that would be great. In the meantime, this is Lorne Riseley telling you to stay indoors, stay safe, and stay defunct. Thank you again for watching and see you next week. Stay inside and stay defunct? Is that really what we're going with? Terrible.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Defunct Games News. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that Lorne will be back next Sunday with a brand new episode. Now, here's the question I have for you. What video game series should get a TV show next? I've been skeptical about video game movies in the past, but after going through all 3 seasons of Castlevania, I'm convinced that the small screen is definitely the way to go. I'm hoping that the upcoming Netflix version of Devil May Cry lives up to the potential. So let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back tomorrow with a spooky episode of Game Over, followed by a review of Ministry of Broadcast and Ancestors Legacy on Switch. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,